So I'm making like $100,000 a year, but I kind of get stuck, and I'm super grateful that we were able to get there. But I'm stuck, and I'm like, man, what's stuck? What's wrong with me? So I pay this guy. He's a consultant, mentor, more of a consultant than a mentor, and I'm paying him. And he said, and I said, you know what, man? I just feel like there's a lot of insecurity that I have that I got to deal with. Like I'm not good enough, like I'm not smart enough. I'm dealing with these insecurities, and I think I'm like 23 years old. And he says to me, he says, hey, if I asked your mentor, like, how does he see you? What would he say? Hardworking, smart, committed, good person, honest, boom, 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 boom. Cool. If I talk to your father, how does he see you? Man, proud, hardworking, honest, loyal, giving. Man, awesome. He says, can I ask you a question? I just asked you how two other people view you, and you answered in such a positive light, and I believe what you're saying. Why do you not view yourself that way? And that was like an epiphany. This 23-year-old, I'm on a call with this guy, and I'm like, you're right. And so then he says, George, we all have a story that we tell ourselves of who we are. And most of the time, we've crafted this story from our past. And unfortunately, we allow a lot of failure and things that did not go right, experiences, times we failed, times we were judged, times we were laughed at, times we lost. We allow those parts to become part of this story that we keep telling ourselves, this is who I am. And what's crazy about this is even right now at this moment, there's a story I'm telling me on who I am at this moment now. And one of the things that we always have to do is really assess the story that we assign to who we are. Because we're this character going through life. We're this character in this movie. And guess what? You're also the author, right? You're also writing the story, right? So you get to write who you want to be in this movie. And it was such a great moment for me to realize, you know what, man, thanks so much for helping me identify that there are things that I keep telling myself in my story that are not true. They're not true. And many of us are telling ourselves a story that's not true. Man, I don't know if I'm smart enough. I don't know if I can. I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I'm good enough. Man, that person's so much better than me. That person's this, that person's that. That person's so smart. I didn't go to that school. I don't have that degree. Man, I'm not as charismatic as that person. I'm not as funny. I'm not as smart. Man, I'm a little bit slower in the way that I learn. I don't learn as fast as other people. Man, that person's a better communicator. Do you know how many people that I've met? I met thousands of people that are better than me in this business, but somehow don't make it, don't last, right? And in entrepreneurship, they're super intelligent. They have great people skills, but for some reason, they just don't make it. And the one thing, right, that we don't give ourselves enough credit for is to continue to move, to continue to fight, to continue to keep going, to continue to get better. And I was having a conversation with this young lady today, and she says, you know what, George, I just struggle with doubt. And I said, awesome. Can I ask you a question? What is a question that you're asking yourself? She says, can I do this? And I said, if you keep asking yourself, can I do this? What do you keep creating? Doubt. And I said, why don't you change the question in your mind to, hey, can I get better every single day? Yes. And then if I get better every single day, over time, what's going to happen? I'm eventually going to get very good. And if I get very good, what's going to happen? I'm going to win. So you process that, and then you say, I'm going to get better every single day, and eventually I'm going to be great, and I'm going to win. And so the problem for a lot of us is that we ask ourselves the wrong questions. Can I do this? Is this for me? Am I good enough? That's not a good question. And if you ask the wrong question, you're going to get the wrong answer. So we got to ask the right question. But this is based on a story. This is based on how you think. And so when you think about every single one of us starts off as bad, and then we quit somewhere along the way to best in the world, right? So let's think about this. Bad. What's after bad? Let's even go a step back. You're horrible at this. Then what? You're bad. You're okay, right? You're decent. It was good. Hey, that was pretty good. Wow, that was really good. Man, that was great. Man, that was amazing. Bro, that was sick. Wow. Dude, you're freaking out of this world, man. You're amazing. You're the best in the world at it. So that chain of events, that sequence, however you want to call it, right? That order, the process. See, the problem is that most of us quit somewhere, and then we keep looking backwards, and because we quit, we keep telling ourselves that story. Because we didn't keep getting better, so we never really got to amazing and recreated ourselves. And that's the problem with most of us. When things get difficult, we quit. When things get hard, we stop. When we face something that we're not good at, we allow that to become our identity instead of saying somebody else was bad at this, they became great at it. How do I become great at it? And you start realizing that there's nothing special about people besides their dedication and their commitment. And that is something that you can practice. You may be moving at a different speed than them, right? Maybe they are going at a 10 and you're going at a 2. But if you're going for this destination, if you keep going, you're going to eventually go from a 2 to a 3 to a 4 to a 5 to a 6 to a 10. And by that time, you built so many good habits and disciplines that maybe you're not moving at a 10 anymore. Now you're moving at a 12. And that person's still moving at a 10 because they're depending on their talents. They're relying on their talent, right? And you're relying on your discipline. And now you've developed these talents, right, through hard work, right? But you're disciplined and talented now. And so I recreated a story for myself in that moment. And I didn't have it all figured out. But I realized that I was going to stop telling myself that old story. And so if that's you, I would challenge you, 1, today, understand you're telling yourself a story. 2, stop telling yourself that same story. And maybe 3, write out the story that you want to achieve and start reading that story daily or imagining that story. And then eventually what will happen is you will create a life. Your decisions will slowly start to shift closer to the person that has that life. And before you know it, you'll have that life. And then you'll be encouraging somebody else that they can do the same thing. Please, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video, everybody. Take care.